The Faraxi took another sip and lowered his voice, ready to dish the latest gossip. His two Dinta friends leaned in. I heard a Zuvat got onto the human station at Horsehead Reef. Crap. I liked that station. The larger of the two Dinto flapped his ears downward in perfunctory sadness at someone else's loss. Yeah. Rerouting is going to cost a crapload of credits. The human at the next table looked over at the three with a puzzled expression. They looked back at him, both Dinta moving their ears into a gesture of commiseration. Did you know anyone there? At Horsehead? Yeah, Horsehead's my home port. The Faraxi winced. Oh, sorry, bud, can I buy you a drink? I wouldn't turn down a drink if you let me get the next round. He switched tables and gestured to the waitress to move his open tab with him. What are y'all talking about? The Zuvat. Oh, that spider-worm thing. Yeah, it was a pain. A pain? Oh, yeah. Lost a couple of guys before we figured it out. A couple. The Faraxi's eyes went wide and the Dento's ears flared in surprise. They glanced at each other, then back to the human. 2 casualties? Generally, station evacuation costs dozens of lives. Well, it did take us a few days to catch the critter. Catch, said the large Dinto. A Zuvat, said the small Dinto. The human looked at them. Well, you can't just leave them loose in the ductwork, can you? Them things kill people. What do y'all do? The two Dinto dipped their ears toward the Faraxi, who answered. We evacuate the station until they starve. The human stared. That could take months. The Faraxi flexed his ears no and tossed back his drink. Dublix Velda, out near the Orion Nebula, has been uninhabited for 16 years. The human shook his head disbelievingly. That's just wrong. Why would... Once it's loose in the station, it will travel through the ducts. It will come out any place in the station. It will kill whoever it wants and breed. The human looked on in non-comprehension. Then his eyes widened and he looked down. While he considered, he took a moment to gesture to the waitress for another round. So you have to evacuate, the Faraxi continued. Get the people to safety. Make sure it doesn't get off that section and no eggs travel in anyone's belongings. Several times the human looked like he was going to say something, but stopped himself. Finally, he got a few words out. Why would what? You can't kill those things. Of course you can. They're just animals. They can take full-on blaster shots and regenerate. Well, sure, if you let them. The Faraxi set down his drink with a thud. Let them? Yeah, why would you do that? How do you not? You trap them in one section, give everybody a gun, and don't let them rest. I think it only took 7 shots before the thing just gave up running. Running, said the large Dinto. A Zuvat, said the small Dinto. Yeah, regeneration takes food and time. After about the 3rd shot, it knew what for. Made the most pitiful squealing noises as it scrambled through the ducts. Never heard anything so pathetic in my life. Pathetic, said the large Dinto. A Zuvat, said the small Dinto. The human looked back and forth between the Dintos. So, is that some kind of comedy routine? Because it does sound funny. Wait, you heard it? Sure, like I said, home base, everybody was there. The larger Dinto looked at him seriously. You killed a Zuvat? Hell no, we caught it. He paused for a moment, but the Dintos said nothing. The eggheads think its venom is going to be a miracle drug. Or maybe a liqueur, they're still hashing that out. Turns out milking them is pretty easy. Milking, said the large Dinto. A Zuvat, said the small Dinto. The human nodded. The Faraxi glared at him, then fed it all back, voice going more and more tense with each phrase. So let me get this straight. A Zuvat got onto your station. You knew nothing about it. A human died. Some first human shot it with a blaster and still died. So you threw more men with blasters at it until it finally got exhausted of killing people. And it gave up. About like that. Not just men, though. Hell, a 6-year-old girl hit it the 3rd time. That's when it figured out that it was screwed. The Faraxi looked down at his newly filled glass and glanced at the receding waitress. He was not nearly drunk enough to believe this. And this is normal for humans. What? What's abnormal? The first person it killed was a kid. No damn way in hell it was going to get away with that. You don't mess with our kids. You have a formidable group response. Damn right, but that's not the only reason not to mess with our kids. He grinned. The last shot went to my 10-year-old nephew. The three were speechless. Yeah, the spider-worm thing just collapsed, looked up at him with those 5 big old eyes and whimpered. The human looked at the 2 dintos. Go ahead, say it. Whimpered, said the large dinto, but his heart wasn't in it. Azuvat, said the small dinto, devoid of expression. The human smiled proudly and finished his glass. Yep, it took everything I had to tell him no to when he asked if he could keep her.